the other one, you bastard!
Brought to you by supporters who probably have better taste than this schmuck.
I'm pissed. Royally pissed. So pissed off that I feel like punching a hole in the wall. Not that I have a wall to punch into. Consistently, every reviewer under the sun has received sponsorships from Reprolabels, yet the man with the PhD in taste gets nothing? What's their secret? Why isn't the Aussie crowd getting any love? Even goddamn Kid Catastrophe is getting the love. How the man?
Just make better videos. What's so hard about that?
Christ, if you weren't in the States, I'd come over and shank you.
I'll cough on you.
Oh man, forget this. I need their attention now. I'm a greedy f***wit attention whore who needs to get what he deserves. I'm going to request an audience the only way I know how, making shitty YouTube videos. Greetings, Cybertronians. I'm Dr. F***wit, and today's diagnosis pertains to the top 10 Reprolabel sets from Toyhax. Okay, so putting the exaggerated joke intro aside, let's reel things in a bit. Reprolabels started back in the long past year of 1999, focusing primarily on Generation 1 reproduction stickers. In time, though, they expanded to Transformers upgrade sets, covering both official and unofficial releases. These days, they have cemented a die-hard fan base through their extremely high-quality sets, pushing figures beyond the limits of what they were capable of before. Even at their worst, their stickers are still some of the highest quality on the market. They remain the gold standard for sticker sets, even to this day. Of course, this being a top 10 list, some basic housekeeping is required. Not that it matters though, no matter how many times I go through this, people always end up rambling in the comments about how wrong I am in one way or another. Regardless, this is a personal list. Obviously, I haven't bought every Reprolabel set in existence, so I can't comment on the ones I don't have. All I can do is go over the best of what I do have. Secondly, this is my top 10, not the definitive top 10 that overwrites all other opinions. This is simply my own opinion, and whilst you may have reasons for disagreeing, it doesn't change how I honestly feel about these sets. As such, there's no real criteria beyond enjoyment on my part. Unlike some other top 10 lists, there's really no need to split into categories and limit certain series. This is just a simple, straightforward top 10 list with no crazy nonsense, and I think that about covers it. Onwards!
Number 10!
My disappointment with the Studio Series 86 Jazz mold has been well documented, but in spite of this, one argument keeps popping up. The Reprolabels fix it. To address this, most of the time, this isn't how upgrade kits work. Upgrade kits should be there to make good figures great, not fix the shortcomings of underwhelming ones. Most of the time, they don't even fix the main issues. Case in point, I don't consider this set the fixer most people deem it to be. The robot mode is still just fine, nothing special. However, there are qualities that allow it to earn this spot on the list. Case in point, holy shit, this vehicle mode is god tier now. The crisp striping, the martini branding, the new lettering on the side, it's all stunning. If you're not a fan of the mold already, this sadly won't do much to win you over, but it's still very much a worthy set to get. It definitely makes the best aspects of this figure even better, and if you are a fan of the figure, well, you're in for a real treat. Now stop telling me that getting the shoulder cannons make him finally good. That's not how upgrade kits work, that's never been how they work.
Number 9!
Damn, I really miss these sorts of upgrade sets. They're a wonderful way to take somewhat weird figures and turn them into pure awesomeness. One of the best examples would have to be their Studio Series Thundercracker release, turning him into a homage of Generation 2 Dreadwing. Thundercracker was an odd one, coming out when Studio Series hadn't quite figured out its identity yet. They weren't fully into the extreme accuracy phase, so there was a little extra wiggle room to make interesting releases like these. Of course, as okay as the figure is, he works so much better as Dreadwing. The wing detail is amazing, and it surprisingly carries over quite well to the chest. This set takes an already great mold with some questionable character marrying and makes something wonderfully inspiring. Of course, they tell you to use the clobber heads, but I swapped it out for a Quake body with a Cyberjet face. People tell me it looks ugly because it's not accurate, but you know what? F*** 'em. Battlecore Optimus Prime was always an odd release. He never quite had his own identity outside of generic Optimus repaints. He was so nondescript that Reprolabels ended up making 3 different sets for him. The best of the 3, and the one I went with, was the Thunderclash conversion. This is the kit that made me fall in love with Thunderclash's design. Everything about this is insane, with the powerful metallic pink windows and the hella cool chest details. The mold was never bad to begin with,
at least as far as the individual modes were concerned,
but this definitely fixed any problems the rest of the mold had. I still stand by my ideology of upgrade kits working best when they make good figures great, but I cannot deny that Reprolabels did a fantastic job here. Although for the maximum effect, it's best to replace the head and add some extra shoulder pads. The Renderform one is sadly out of production, but you can still find replacements on Shapeways. I'll leave some links in the description.
Number 7!
As far as I can gather, there are 2 primary reasons why Toyhax doesn't do Movieverse sets as often these days. The first is general demand. Let's be real here, I don't think movie fans care that much about Reprolabels when these figures are this well designed to begin with, whereas regular chug figures often make more sacrifices to their engineering and paint for the sake of accuracy. The second is difficulty. A lot of these designs are super complex, with not a lot of space to put stickers on. This is why it makes me even more happy that this set didn't just release, but that it turned out utterly fantastically. There are so many minor details they've added here, making every surface feel premium as f***. And that's just the core robot. The trailer gets just as much love. As much as I loved what they did originally, at least more so than most of the trailers in Generations, there's no denying that the paint was somewhat lacking. This set remedies everything though, adding plenty of detail and making this feel complete. It's at the point where I now consider this the definitive movie Optimus Prime, even taking that spot from the old Revenge of the Fallen leader. I know that's going to be a controversial opinion, but I don't care. This thing is amazing. It's going to take a lot of work to get me to swap out for the premium finish version. Your move, Takara, your move.
Number 6.
Unlike many people, I have a soft spot for the classics Octane mold, or should I say Tankor mold, since sadly trademarks are a thing. People always seem to criticize this thing far too harshly, forgetting the fact that this was a deluxe in the classics period and a triple changer. I actually draw more enjoyment out of this thing than the Times Return version, although that may be due to the repro labels applied. These things are absolutely gorgeous, especially those applied in jet mode. This thing was already pretty sweet, but this set takes it to the next level. I realize that for most people, this set will seem pretty damn pointless since they'll take one look at the robot mode and scoff, but who cares? I love this and it's damn well deserving of a spot on this list, even if I don't have as much to say about it as other entries.
Number 5.
Orange is a very hard color to do, not in the sense of doing the color itself, but in the sense of the breakup. Use too much orange and the figure becomes overwhelmed. This was the case with Titan's Return Sentinel Prime out of the box, to the point where many people skipped the following Astra Train because of it. Probably for the best though. However, this is a damn fine figure in its own right, and the application of repro labels brings this fact to life spectacularly. This set kind of exists in the limbo between bad figures fixed by upgrade sets and good figures made great by upgrade sets, because whilst the colors are definitely iffy on the original release, the mold itself is lovely. Yes, even the battle train. Admit it, fellas, y'all were too harsh on this thing. Either way, I love the cockpit details, I love the line work, I love the holographic options, I love the Cybertronian lettering, I love practically everything about this set. I may need to order another since one of the pelvis stickers fell off, but either way, this is a brilliant release and well worth the money if you either have this mold or are even slightly interested in it.
Number 4.
As the Siege Sideswipe mold continues into its, oh wow, 11th use, it's difficult to find ways to revitalize it into something unique. Don't get me wrong, pretty much all of these are fantastic out of the box, bar one example that we'll get to, but if you're not super into the design like I am, almost a dozen purchases of this is a little harder to justify. To remedy this, repro labels did what they do best, went batshit crazy. I was introduced to this set through the previously harassed Kit Catastrophe, as he was provided a set to showcase. At that moment, I knew I had to get one myself, and holy shit, it turned out amazingly. The striping adds so many points of interest to the color scheme, yet it never feels overbearing or gaudy. Oddly enough, I feel the black Autobot symbol is the best part, making this feel far more mature than the stock figure. Either way, this is a perfect harmony of toy and sticker sets, and acts as wonderful evidence as to why is the absolute shit.
Number 3.
This combo. Oh boy, this combo. So Hashtag have been trying to make the definitive G1 Megatron at the Voyager scale within the confines of the fact that he can't be a gun. Stop asking, guys, it's illegal. The original version kinda missed the mark with its wacky paints, and the Selects version was just flat out ugly. Not until Netflix did we get anything close to actual plastic beauty. Still, it didn't quite hit the mark, as although it did look amazing, it wasn't the perfect all-around Megatron. This is where repro labels came in, and holy shit, they've made this practically perfect. The 3D chest effects, the red zones on the torso, the black helmets. Me, the black helmets. Okay, so this set gives you two options. You can either go cartoon and toy silver or comic black, and hot damn, the black looks amazing. Can we just have black helmets on Megatrons from now on? That would be great, thank you. Either way, this is a fairly simple set, but it's incredibly effective. The mold was already good, but never great. This set pushes it into the category of greatness, to the point where I look at the premium finish version and just go, nah, I don't need this. I think this looks better anyway. Also comes with doodads for the Battle Masters, but come on, who the hell cares? This is the real star of the show.
Number 2.
Until its cancellation, Toy Colors Reflector was meant to be the second Transformers exclusive for HasCon. Turns out trying to run a big-ass convention for franchises that lack the same pull as the big guns is a terrible idea, and as such, the convention was quietly cancelled to the surprise and care of no one. So the set got released as a quasi-exclusive thingo, and the end result was alright. There was definitely something missing though. It had the basic outline of a camera, but not the general feel. This is where Toyhax came in and brought this figure up to the highest level. Much like Megatron, it finally makes this set truly worth it. So many subtle details, such as the zoom slider and the text replacement. It makes this set feel like a proper collector piece. The question is though, what makes it better than Megatron? Well, no one in particular is asking this question, but I have to find a way to segue into Moleskin. Faux Moleskin! I don't know what to say, man. The difference is night and day. This makes the camera one of the best alt modes in the whole goddamn trilogy. It's that simple. They've done great here. And of course, they've done great with a lot of other sets, ones which sadly did not make the cut. That's what the honorable mentions are for, though, so let's quickly jump into them. Action Master Optimus Prime was a fantastic way to make the Titan's Return figure actually interesting. The guns are a little weak in robot mode, but holy f***, that alt mode is beautiful. Honestly, Hasbro should have just hired repro labels to make their stickers. I have my complaints with DX9 Hulky, but I cannot deny the set they made for it is a really lovely one. I especially love all the black highlights they added, and the visor is especially wonderful. Now, the Jetfire set isn't for everyone. Many people think it looks cluttered and ruins the toon look. Personally, though, I love what it does. Combined with the ears, it really brings the figure to life. Too bad the ears are only sold on... Also, there's not enough love for Siege Ratchet. I know this is supposed to be a spot for the Reprolabel set, but I kinda want to use this time to highlight how awesome the Siege mold is. I'm sick and tired of everyone frothing over the overly worse cousin, especially when this guy is slightly cheaper on the aftermarkets. Anywho, bet you didn't expect to see this kind of video again. Don't worry, I'm not here to trash him. I'm here to say that the Reprolabel set is expertly crafted. I may not like the figure, but they did a pretty damn good job with the aesthetic here. And finally, time to turn Megatron. This one's pretty simple. It takes the awful Hasbro stickers and replaces them. Either way, it goes to show that Time to Turn had a lot of bangers, unfortunately let down by questionable deco choices. But that aside, my favorite Reprolabel set of all time is... Okay, first, a little preamble. In my mind, an upgrade set should never excuse a bad figure. If the designer of the base mold didn't put the effort in or had too many restrictions placed upon them, that's on them. That's not on everyone else to try and make up for the figure's shortcomings. I know I'm pretty much alone in this ideology, but I still stand by it. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not happy to upgrade good figures with a few shortcomings or just mediocre figures. But if a figure is by and large bad, upgrades in my mind shouldn't be used to fix it because it's ultimately not going to be as good as waiting for another version later down the line, even if said version is more expensive. Except for one instance. 2019 was the first year in which I didn't just include a best of retrospective, but also a worst one. Under the honorable mentions was one figure that made a few people confused. Siege Red Alert. The original Sideswipe mold was fantastic with its use of matte red and clear vehicle mode outline, but his later wave repaints was disappointing to say the least. It sucks the life out of everything with an over-reliance on white. Yes, Red Alert is a white car, but he requires a whole heap of red to make the design, especially the robot mode, work properly. But it's not like Reprolabels could fix that, right? I mean, you'd need to redo the whole thighs. That's ruddy and taking the number 1 spot on this list, Siege Red Alert goes from the worst of the 11 release lineup to one of the best. Legitimately, this tangos with the likes of fully Reprolabeled Tiger Track with how amazing this looks. I'm aware many people will consider this blasphemous since it removes all these Cybertronian aesthetics, but let's be real here, Siege was never really Cybertronian. It was mostly cyberpunk. I know a lot of people think I'm crazy for thinking that, but I'll stand by it. The real star of the show is the robot mode, with the gorgeous addition of red thighs and elbows. This is what was primarily missing from the toy. It's the same problem the Time to Turn Sentinel Prime had, an abundance of a single color. This breakup was sorely needed, and Reprolabels delivered in spades. If you own Siege Red Alert, this is a must-buy. Of course, these days it might be easier to pre-order the eventual Earth Mode version, supposedly coming to Walgreens at some point. But much like other entries on this list, honestly, I don't think it'll outclass the magnificence of this fellow. Under most circumstances, I would never endorse buying a lackluster figure just to upgrade it, but in this instance, I have to break that rule because f*** me, this is next level. And honestly, that's what I think Reprolabels does best, not adding a few minor details to a figure here and there, but taking figures with extremely lacking paint schemes and bringing them to life in unique and inventive ways. Sure, they keep chugging along with their simple releases here and there, but I always find myself getting excited over the more extreme cases, the ones that go all out. They may not have the workforce necessary to put sets out like these all the time, but when they do release sets like these, it's a cause for celebration. For the most part, I don't think any other companies on the market make stickers to the same quality as them. Certainly not as far as pack-in stickers are concerned. They are the gold standard, and whatever they continue to do in the future, I'm sure it'll turn out great. I would ask that they tackle Studio Series Blitzwing at some point, because, he kinda needs it. Either way, I hope this gets their attention, because if it doesn't, well, I might have to take some more drastic measures. Whether it's filling up my cup, having lunch at my favorite COVID outbreak site, hunting for toys on barren Australian shelves, or simply working myself to exhaustion on videos for you to enjoy, I'm always eating Reprolabels. Did I just devise this entire episode for the sake of a stupid closing gag? Yes. Yes, I did.